What up? It's your boy T-Bear and Reaction. Today's Wrestling Wednesday. We'll make up for Wrestling Wednesday, Hope you enjoy your Turkey Day, though. Anyway, we about to check. This weekend is WWE Survivor Series, one of the big fours of the pay-per-views of WWE as well too. This week was going to be the War Games of Survivor Series as well too. And this whole past Wrestling Wednesday as I've been doing, instead of doing it on one day as well too, where sometimes it might be not possible to do it, I'm doing it as every Wrestling Wednesday as well too. If there ain't comes up before Survivor Series, I'll try to squeeze in on either on my Friday, during either my kill count reaction or do one before Survivor Series. But anyway, we're gonna check out another video from partsFUNknown though. This is top 10 best opening matches in Survivor City history. You know what I say about this all the time. Your opening matchup is always, all matches should be just as great as your closing main event as well too. You gotta keep them interested and interested to see your pay-per-view or your show in general from the first match as well too. And the first match can make or break you though. You have to show if you have the best opening matches as well too. The pay-per-view is at a great start. So anyway, without further ado, we want to check out 10 best opening matches in Survivor Series history from partsFUNknown. Let's get it.
I think it's fair to say the Survivor Series is nobody's favourite WWE event. I mean, that's not to say it's bad or that it doesn't have any value, it's just probably 4th or 5th on your list. Where does it rank on my list, I hear you ask? Well, maybe Tempest will let me tell you one day. He's a hard taskmaster and he won't even let me write a shopping list without his prior approval. Keeping the audience's energy up for a show that's devolved somewhat into lazy brand warfare booking is a bit of a challenge, so it requires a solid opener to warm up the crowd and get the adrenaline pumping for the night ahead. And in its, would we say storied history, there have been more than a few curtain jerkers that did just that. I'm Dan, hailing from partsFUNknown, and here are the 10 best Survivor Series opening matches ever.
Let me paint you a picture. You've completed all of TV and watched all the wrestling content from that past week. You've even watched all the great Wrestle Talk and partsFUNknown videos, and you've just completed Final Fantasy VII for the 7th time this year, and you're sat there alone in your pants with ice cream dripping down your chin.
I get the VPN number one. We're going to bypass that real quick. So maybe let's get to it, to the beginning as well too. And let's see it.
Number 10, Dolph Ziggler vs. John Morrison, 2011. It's an interesting one to start our list off, as it was a match that nobody in Madison Square Garden actually wanted to see. But what makes this match so great in my book is how Ziggler and Morrison are able to not only power through and put on a decent match, but actually get the crowd back on side.
Great workers, y'all, man. If unfortunately none of them in WWE no more, but them two were some great in-ring workers in WWE, man, for real. Very underrated.
I mean, you've got an acrobat and a bump machine in there. It's going to be an entertaining show. There's a reverse T-bone suplex that makes my groin go a bit tingly. And credit to Vicky Guerrero on the outside, closing her ears to the chants of "We Want Ryder" and screaming her head off, somehow managing to be louder than 16,000 New Yorkers screaming for Long Island Iced Tea. The art of the wrestling manager is one I wish they would dedicate an entire wing of the Performance Center to. As the match draws to a close, the crowd can't help pausing from their Ryder chants to ooh and ah. Managing to win over a hostile crowd is a mark of the excellence of these performers and an example of the many occasions WWE have managed to book an excellent match in spite of themselves. Speaking of, number 9, the Body Donners vs. the Underdogs, 1995. Something you're going to hear about a lot from me on this list is pacing. It's a delicate thing for a match to do. If it takes too long to get going, your match can feel awkward and disjointed. If you go too long, your drama can build and the audience rise with it, only to deflate like a sad balloon. And the very nature of a multi-man elimination match that became the Survivor Series staple means that going long is exactly what most of these opening matches do. But these teams manage to definitely avoid that potential landmine, even if they don't manage to avoid deeply unfortunate haircuts. The tags are quick and they each make the most of their time in the ring with exciting moves and high-speed action that brings out that kind of high-pitched pop from the crowd that feels brilliantly 90s. 95 was probably the worst year in company history. Only a couple of months back, the main event of SummerSlam was Diesel versus Mabel, for Christ's sake. And the interesting thing here is they've essentially lumped together all of the wrestlers they'd never bother pushing in a million years just to get them on the card, and in doing so, they've highlighted the gulf between the talent they have available and the talent brand they want to push. Silly, silly company. Number 8. The Real Americans and the Shield versus Cody Rhodes, Goldust, Rey Mysterio, and the Usos, 2013. A shining star on an otherwise brutal evening of wrestling that was capped off by Randy Orton facing the Big Show for the world title in 20-flipping-third-hecking-team. Firstly, it's got Goldust, and I can't get enough Goldust, but the rest of the teams are stacked too, even with...
What an interesting setup right there. You have, oh my God, what an interesting though. So you got Goldust and Cody Rhodes and Goldust team with the Usos. Cody is right now about to be teamed with Jey Uso in the War Games those well too. And they're gonna get the Shield and Real American. Pretty much you must Cesaro and Jack Swagger, aka Claudio and Jay Hager, was both in AEW. Goldust is in AEW as Dustin Rhodes. Moxley is AEW. Well, DJ Hammer's in AEW. And then you got Roman Reigns, who we're hoping we get a rematch between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. That was well too. And WrestleMania 4, hopefully Cody Rhodes get the win this time. But yeah, a very interesting collection right there. And then you have Jimmy, who don't know what to do with himself right now. But anyway, interesting connection we got going on here, y'all. Good, interesting little slide over here compared to what's going on with each of them guys now, yo.
Jack Swagger there, apparently unable to contain his glee about being a part
and
of it
Seth,
until he gets eliminated before he can land.
And we got Seth, who is Cody's and Jay's teammate in War Games.
A single move on 4 different men. Lol. And I also get a hindsight kick out of the fact we've got the Usos, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns here, especially when Roman is then booked to absolutely crush the entire babyface team. Backed into a corner after most of his team is eliminated, Roman decides to respond by, well, basically spearing the entire babyface team clean out of their boots. It's a real star-making moment for Reigns, and it would only take, about 7 years for WWE to finally figure out how to capitalize and turn him into their top guy. Number 7. Spike versus Billy Kidman versus Rey Mysterio versus Chavo Guerrero, 2004. I love a bit of cruiserweight action, I do, and there's plenty of it here. SmackDown was my show growing up because it was the one available on the basic Sky TV package, and the cruiserweights were a big part of what made me so fond. To paraphrase AJ Lee, Rey Mysterio is lighting it up here, and you're welcome for having that song stuck in your head for the rest of the day. He and Chavo kick off with some lovely lucha-style chain wrestling, then Rey goes to hit a vicious and frankly gorgeous Hurricane Rana on Kidman that sends him crashing off the apron, and I can feel it from here. At one point, there's a lovely little spot where everyone gets to do a dive over the top rope, but when Spike has a go, they all move, so he crashes and burns, and it's very funny. I think what I like so much about this is that it doesn't outstay its welcome. 9 brief action-packed minutes during which time every man
was still a babyface. I think it's when Chavo was still a babyface.
Gets a showcase, and all the feuds intersecting have a moment to shine. And then Spike, who's playing a cowardly heel that thinks he's the big man when he's not even the biggest borrower, steals a win and smirks off to the back. Bravo. Number 6. Team Angle versus Team Lesnar, 2003. Oh man, I had a great time.
Oh no, it's not this one. Oh, I'm thinking it's the one with but still, it's still good matchup right here, though. I'm thinking it's the one with Cena, but still.
You're watching this one, and that's in spite of the fact that Matt Morgan and Nathan Jones are standing around looking like creator wrestlers. Often these Survivor Series matches take a while to get going, but here there's no hanging about. We're straight down to business with 3 quick-fire eliminations. The pace is pretty relentless right through, and they just crack the on with it, basically. Everyone's feeling their oats. There's some real energy and adrenaline popping.
It is the one with Cena, okay.
The vibe of a feud that's just hit boiling point with 10 men who want to get in and make an impact. And then before you know it, we're down to the final few men.
Wait. It wasn't Cena. So I saw JBL in the
2003 Kurt Angle is intensity personified, and Lesnar is at his
apex,
so we love seeing them together. And then before I've even been able to figure out what's going on, Lesnar's tapping out. Didn't see that one coming, and when Cena uses his chain to bonk Big Show on the head and hoik him up for an FU, you're in full testosterone mode, screaming yes.
I think this is his first match as a babyface, John Cena.
At the sight of it. Excellent stuff. Number 5. The Shield versus the New Day, 2017. Fun fact, this was the first time the Shield ever faced the New Day. It was also the only time the Shield ever faced the New Day, which in the land of, that worked, so run it back until everyone's sick of it, pal, is genuinely quite remarkable.
This both of them with babyfaces. This is like one of their, because this is one of the best Raw vs SmackDown as well too. This is following the Under Siege thing with Shane as well too, and they was like the front runner for SmackDown team, while the Shield was the front runner for Raw. Yeah, this was awesome right here. So yep.
remarkable. It takes a hot sec to find its rhythm, not helped by the fact that Seth and Dean are wearing objectively the stupidest shirts in their history of wrestling, a list that also features the sperm one and phallic Sin Cara. But when they get there, as you'd expect from wrestlers of this caliber, it's smooth sailing. The hope spots are nicely measured, and there's some great triple team action from New Day in particular. Big E gets Rollins and Ambrose on the shoulders for the big ending, which becomes a near fall until it's broken up by a spear from Roman that crashes straight through the cover. They have a little fight forever moment before it became an exhausted trope, and then we get a lovely bone-rattling triple powerbomb from the top rope to close things out. It wakes the crowd up nice and proper, which is exactly what you want your opening bout to do. Well done all. Number 4, Team Piper versus Team Flair, 1991. Congratulations to anyone who was alive and had enough consciousness to be able to watch this in the moment, because Jesus, do you want to talk about star power? Just look at this lineup.
Damn, that is star power right there. And in fact, you got Piper and Virgil as baby faces at the time too. That's awesome, man.
Monty's here. Time in wrestling goes at a relentless march, and it's often easy to slip on your nostalgia specs when WWE goes about calling anyone and everything legendary. But prime Roddy Piper and Ric Flair transcend the word. Just look at the material. They're kept apart for a while, but when Roddy tags in and squares off with Flair, it's absolutely electric in there. In fairness, this crowd were jolly well up for everything. I mean, listen to the Raw when Virgil gets a hot tag. You've got Warlord and Bulldog playing meaty men slapping meat, and the heel face work is pitch perfect. Bulldog goes on a rampage but ends up getting eliminated because the heels have confused everyone over who's the legal man, allowing them to take advantage. And after a babyface comeback spot, the Mountie is desperate for a tag, but none of the heels want any part of it, which is hilarious. And you've even got Gorilla and Heenan bickering on commentary. It's just the most charming example of 90s wrestling. Everyone is over. And also the Mountie is here. Number 3, Bubba Ray Dudley, Spike, and Jeff Hardy versus 3 Minute Warning, 2002. Now then, this is so high on the list because
I know why this one, because a reunion happened.
My heart. It's probably one of the matches I've watched the most times ever, because in the olden days I had the Survivor Series 2002 DVD and I watched it on loop. And that's because it's a goat of a show, from the card to the pacing right down to the theme song. Shout out to Saliva, always still slaps. But even aside from that, this match stands out in its own right. First of all, seeing a Dudley and a Hardy team up in a tables match at Madison Square Garden was a delightful novelty. But on the other side, you've got 3 Minute Warning, who were just brilliant. They'd batter you into a million pieces with their size and power, but good heavens, they could move. And it's an excellent plunder match with tables splintering all over the place, Spike getting face planted through one, which is brutal and great, and it features possibly the best looking and most clean swanton high spot Jeff Hardy's ever done. And then to cap it off, we get a nice, heartwarming Dudley's reunion after they've been separated through the original brand split. What's not to love? Number 2, Women's War Games 2022. Look here, WWE didn't do a fantastic job of booking their women's division in the autumn of 2022. The never-ending tale of Damage Control failing to take out Bianca and friends felt interminable. But as is the case with wrestling, lousy creative can often belie the talent.
So, if I can think about this, this is EO's been on every EO's been on every War Games. This is Bianca's third War Game. Bailey and I'm not close not in, but Bailey and Becky's second one as well too. And I think Asuka's second one too. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember Asuka was on Team Bianca last time. Yeah.
It's supposed to put over, and never is that more evident than this chaos machine of a match. Because not only did the 10 women here push through that dodgy booking, this is also the first time War Games had ever been seen on the main roster. So to get it over, they chose to let it become a plunder extravaganza, working in tables and ladders and trash cans, oh my. Filling the ring with toys can be a dangerous game, in every sense of the word, but here they embrace the carnage to perfection. A team with Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch on it never felt like one that was going to take the L, but the heel did a fantastic job of making sure they got theirs. From some great character work from Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley while they were waiting to enter, to Io delivering her prime cut moonsault off the top of the cage. As an introduction to the night, a reintroduction to the stipulation, and a reminder of how good these competitors can be, tick, tick, tick. And number 1, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair 2021. Look, I'm about to possibly be a bit over-enthusiastic, but it's a wrestling list and we only trade in extremes here. This is one of my favorite matches ever. It's everything I love about wrestling. It's blending athletic skill with high melodrama and straight viciousness. On a parasocial level, I want everything to be rainbows and sunshines between these two, so the way it manages to play on that reported real-life conflict between two former best friends only adds to the drama, the pain, and the fury. They channel it so brilliantly brilliantly into a clash for the ages. And they go with the whole thing where they know each other so well. They're able to not only anticipate each other's moveset, as when Becky reverses a natural selection into a disarm her, they're also able to adapt their own moves on the fly to each other's evasions, as when Charlotte nearly spears Becky out of her fabulous red boots. The pace here never dips below 90%, and they only ever give you seconds to breathe before they go right back to smashing the teeth out of each other. And the finish is such a smart piece of business that manages to give one of them the victory while showing in the exact same beat that they're actually the perfect match for each other. It has this feeling of destined to do it forever, and one day I want them to main event WrestleMania against each other and then have the biggest hug in the world so I can get caught in the crowd crying my eyes out and become a meme. And that's our list. With 36 years to run through, there's plenty of competition out there, so why don't you let us know your faves that deserve a mention in the comments. Give us a like and subscribe, and check out more of our fabulous content. Why don't you start here?
I'm trying to pause.
Burgers held it twice, and its two lengthiest reigns have been part-timers. There have been some brilliant contests for the big blue and previously red belt. Those were outlined in last week's list, which was possibly the great.
Alright, since I'm not pausing, I'm gonna just want to say what I say. This was a good selection right here as well too. Though all the old matches was great though. I definitely watched most of them. One I did not watch as much was the first one, the one with 1981 though. But I heard about it though. But yeah, other than that, this was good collection of opening matches. So if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.